Welcome to the show, ladies and gents. We're here. We talk about wrestling.
Charlotte beat me. I put you in a neck brace before. I have no problem doing it again.
You haven't seen it, honey? I was...
Oh, bitch! No, the fuck y'all did. So much balls. What happened? There's too much balls on that ref. Too many red balls. Look at all these balls. Look at this. Damn! Oh, Jesus! We are witnessing child abuse on TV, Lord. Oh, have mercy. Now, watch your mouth when you talking to me, ho. Watch your mouth. Watch your mouth. You ain't getting nothing. You don't get nothing. You either earn it or you don't. You pasty bitch. That ain't how this works. Uh-oh. Hit it with the zigzag. Let's go, baby. Let's go, dog. Let's go. I'm fucks with it. We sick of your shit.
Hey, girl, hey. Life, relationships, pop culture.
Well, go ahead. I'm listening. And he'll be looking at me. He will be looking at me and he will go to sleep. He will go to sleep. Look at me in my face. I'm talking to you.
We talk about it all, baby. So, y'all ready? I know y'all ready. Because it's showtime. And that's on the ancestors, baby.
Hello. Is it me you're looking for? All right. Hello, everybody. Hello. Brandy was here first. She's always the first one here. Hi, Brandy. Hello, Chase. Hello, King. Hello, Nika. Tay is here. Everybody's chopping it up, being nice to each other. I appreciate that. Hello, young boy Jay. Hello, Hiram. And hello, Jonelle. So, if you guys missed NXT, you missed a real treat. Now, given the fact that NXT will probably be changed forever after Worlds Collide this Sunday at 4 p.m., there have been some changes that have been implemented and some matches added. And what we've seen is a lot of callbacks from old NXT and NXT UK superstars. So let's just dive right into it. Okay. Hello, Rico. Hello, Brandy again. Hi, Kayla. How are you? All right. Hello, Aaliyah. So, this whole show was about pushing forward Worlds Collide, which I really appreciated that, because sometimes I find that a lot of times in WWE, they do not make sure they double down on the pay-per-view. So people aren't going to be interested in watching it if you don't push forward the narrative of the pay-per-view being great. Okay? And that's what they did today on NXT. This was a very good example of how to book a show prior to the pay-per-view. No matter how far along it is or how far away it is, it was booked appropriately. So let's start at the beginning. We had the weakest part of the show was the match between Grayson Waller and Apollo Crews. I didn't care for that match. I'm not going to care for that match. I didn't want to see it. It wasn't something that I wanted to see. So I was like, whatever. I see Brazy. Hello. Hey, Tip. This was such a good show tonight. Who do you think will win in the women's champs match? I'm not sure. We'll get to it in just a second. Let's give me a minute. I love the altercation from that Asian Japanese lady. I can't spell her name. and Alba. Her name is Miko Satomura. And you mean the exchange, because they didn't have an altercation. They just talked. They just talked. I just want to know why that nigga got on a jacket. Somebody could tell me why Carmelo has on a jacket. Oh! I didn't get to see the end of the show, so it's just now playing out for me. Wow. Why Carmelo got a jacket in the middle of at the end of the summer in Florida? Do that make sense for him to be wearing a jacket? And it's a thick jacket. It's not no little, it's not a little flak jacket or no little windbreaker. It ain't nothing like that. That is a full-on goose down jacket. It's like, what are you doing, sir? Wow. Anyway, after it moved on from there, we got a couple of matches. So let me pull up the match card for the night. That's way too soon. Let me pull up the match card for the night. Make sure I get it right. Okay. So that next match that we had was a tag team match between Tatum Paxley and Ivy Niles. And then there was Katana and Kaden. They were attacked. They're the tag team champs. They had their match. It was a pretty decent match. I don't really remember much of it. It was okay. It wasn't bad. The cool part about that match was that Nikki and Piper came out there and they challenged the current NXT Women's Champions to a match at Worlds Collide. Now, everybody thought that Nikki was severely injured last Friday at the Fatal 4-Way Second Chance match, but she actually has been able to recover. It seemed like it was just a little tweaking and she's fine. So they're going to compete. They're going to compete at Worlds Collide on Sunday. So this is going to be very, very interesting. The next match that we saw, the next segment that we saw was this creepy ass segment between Cameron Grimes and Joe Gacy. And Joe Gacy gave Schism or Dayton or whatever they call themselves as a squad, as a team, gave them 2 smiley face pins. You ever heard of the smiley face killer? I really think you should look it up because that's exactly what it reminded me of, unfortunately. It was a weird day for Joe Gacy and Schism in its entirety. Cameron Grimes came out there and essentially he was just like, I don't need you, and therefore, stop following me and leave me alone. I did see this comment and I did read it out loud, so you don't have to put it in there twice. Do you think we will get new title designs for the unified titles? I'm not sure, but more than likely, yes. And I think that's a really, it's a lot of unnecessary money being spent on those titles. If they were going to do this, which I assume they didn't really think they were going to, but if they were going to do this, they should have waited to redesign the NXT titles and then move forward. But I guess it was still all under Vince's regime, and they were going to leave the titles as it was. And now because Trip is in charge, he's able to kind of move and shake and do things that he wants to do or that he deems to be good business. And in this case, having these titles there, that works for them. And then eventually combining them, I would say yes. I definitely would, but I would stick with the design of the NXT UK championships. I like those designs better. They look like championships when they wear them. They look like somebody of substance has to be able to wear those titles in order to have it. And I have that championship. So for me, I love that belt. I've always loved that belt. Even over the main roster women's championship, that belt is a beautiful belt. And when it's the middle of the winter, he'd be wearing them loose baseball shorts unbuttoned. I'm just trying to understand why he was wearing a whole goddamn goose down coat. I was just like, it's Florida. It's still hot outside. And it's Florida, babe. Maybe Mandy will lose to Miko and back to the main roster, maybe. I don't know who's gonna win at Worlds Collide. I wouldn't give it to Mandy. I feel like her being champion long on in NXT is good enough. I would not give her that title at all. I wouldn't mind Miko Satomura getting it and then retiring and vacating the belt and letting somebody else come and get it. But it seems like Blair is the odds out favorite for that title, seeing as how she didn't get her regular title shot. In my humblest of humblest opinions, I don't think that Blair should have been added to that match. I really think that they should have let Miko and Mandy fight it out. Let Miko win, and then let Miko go up against Blair, and let that be her final send-off match if that's what she wanted to do. But I just don't. I just felt like that it was unnecessary to add her to that match. People said it was stupid. Their Monday Night Raw superstar showed up on NXT. These are former NXT people who showed up on Monday Night Raw. It wasn't like it was just a bunch of Monday Night randoms coming up on NXT. These were former champions, people who carried each of those titles that were being contested. And they showed up on NXT. So anybody who said it was stupid, obviously they've never been watching NXT and they don't know what was going on. It was 87 today, and people had on jeans with jackets. Were they trying to die? Like,
heat stroke is a thing,
right? Ivy done left her homegirl Tampax to fend for herself. Child, she said, "Hold on, I'm gonna beat these GTA strippers while her good sis fighting for her life." Keith Jesperson, yeah. Who the fuck is that? I have no idea who that is. I had the same reaction as you when. Are you talking about the people in Schism, Aaliyah? Because I have no idea who that is. I had the same reaction as you when Joe Gacy hugged him, which was ew. It was just out of pocket. I don't like it. Well, if Black and Gold taught us anything, it's that Hunter don't mind spending a pretty piece and penny for no reason. Maybe the AC was cranked up in the CWC. He had that on outside. He had it on when he arrived, Rico. When they showed up, they had the cameras on him and Trick Williams for whatever reason. And he had that jacket on outside with no fucking shirt on. If you're cold, put on a goddamn shirt, bitch. What? Put on a damn shirt. From Walter, Ricochet, Shayna, Finn, Nikki, Piper, NXT showed out. Do you think Rico is the next North American Championship contender? Yes, they're going to be fighting at Worlds Collide. The show is Sunday, so it's happening. Did you watch the show? Did you see it? I mean, if they haven't announced it, it's probably going to be announced. But yes, Ricochet is more than likely the next opponent for the North American Championship, and it's going to be contested at Worlds Collide. Monday Night Randoms. It's a weird thing to say that they were randoms. They weren't randoms. They former NXT people, so that's not random.
Yeah, former champions.
There were former champions and former NXT guys. Every person that we saw that talked to somebody held a belt there in NXT, with the exception of Piper and Nikki. They were the only ones. So it's odd that somebody would say there was Monday Night Randoms. It's very clear to me that those particular people have never watched NXT Black and Gold, and they've never watched NXT period.
Those people were staples on both brands.
They weren't watching them. If it wasn't for the people that we saw, those Monday Night Randoms, as you call them, NXT wouldn't be what it is today.
Right.
So maybe you should go back to the drawing board, or pick up your remote and go back to the network, or go back on Peacock and watch a couple of episodes of NXT and NXT UK, and you'll see what I mean. It wasn't a random thing. It was a respect to the old as well as to the new, and then looking for the future, which is why each individual former champion made sure to tell them that the legacy of NXT rests on your shoulders and where it goes from here. The stupidity.
Stupid.
It's just stupid for you to be that fucking dumb. The smiley face killer. Oh, that's his name? I didn't know what his name was. But it's just weird. Oh, then he's just crazy. Why, yes, I am. I will take that belt off of Mello. You ain't gonna do nothing but get your ass whooped. Now, shit, we need to have people who are experienced in the ring. You ain't got there yet. When you get there, I will root for you all day long, except for when you a heel. And I'm gonna boo the shit out your ass. I didn't, but that's because I'm behind. Oh, okay. Loved how they called Piper a pioneer of the NXT women's division, because Piper was. Just off of just face value, there was nobody like Piper in NXT UK. Nobody. There still isn't. To this day, there is no competitor that was like Piper in NXT UK. And there never will be, as far as I'm concerned. She is one of a kind. And as much as I don't have a problem with her and Nikki teaming, I think Nikki should drop the superhero gimmick to be by her side. And they should work together in terms of pushing forward her new character. It's okay for you to switch characters and have something different. And I like the fact that Nikki tried and did something outside of the box. But I just feel like if she and Piper were on the same page, looks wise, period, and just presenting a united front together, and gear, the whole nine, I think that they would fare better as a tag team in the division. I would stay in NXT. I would not go back to the main roster. I would stay there and fight till I got those championships if they don't get them on Sunday. I would stay there and just terrorize Kaden and Katana, because honestly, while they have them and I'm happy for them, I don't give a shit about them anymore. And it's a little late for me for them to have the titles. I would much rather having Piper and Nikki have the titles. And I feel like the matches between them and other teams will be a bit more fun to watch. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see. If I was Shayna, I would have kneed the fuck out of Mandy to show her how it's done. Well, Shayna told her everything that she said. It's gonna be trash if she don't win on Sunday, and she was absolutely right, because you've been begging for people to put respect on your name, but Shayna did not do that. Shayna demanded it, and she demanded that she got it. No matter how the means that she got it, she got it. You, on the other hand, you mad because nobody respects you, but you still got the title. And that just says a lot about your personality. You require a lot of praise and admiration, but you ain't content within yourself to be able to say that I'm the champion of NXT. You say it, but you don't have no feeling or meaning behind it. But the girls like Shayna, Sasha, Charlotte, okay? The girls like Io Shirai, Asuka, them girls embodied it. They presented it. It was what you saw walking through the door. You saw potential champion. I cannot say the same thing for you, Mandela, but if that's how you feel, you need some respect being put on your name. Girl, if the championship, if you being called the NXT Women's Champion is not enough respect for you, then you got a lot more to learn. And that's all I'm going to say to you, babe. But good luck on Sunday, though. You're going to need it. Laugh my ass off, but who didn't notice that they aren't randoms? Baby, I don't know. I out the number one contender. I can't with you. Rico will stand fall on Sunday. Will you stop? Not needs the fuck out of her, child. She needs to show Mandy how to have a very long and great run. Nobody wants to see Mandy Rose as a lengthy champion. She's been champion long enough, in my opinion. I don't want to see Mandy Rose as champion anymore. It's odd to me. I don't want to see it. I don't care for Mandy as a champion, as a character. I'm done. She's been champion for almost a year now. I'm over it. I never really call serial killers by their nicknames that weren't even made up by them. Most serial killers' names aren't made up by them. Their nicknames are not made up by them. So it is what it is. Period. Madam Doodoo is a trailblazer, a pioneer and an icon, a star. I wonder if Doodoo and Nikki win the titles, Kaden and Katana will go up. Maybe. Mandy, Shayna, two bitches who we were waiting to drop that belt. We were waiting for Shayna to drop that title. Every former roster member from each brand of NXT had a purpose of being there tonight. It was a good way to show respect to both divisions. Absolutely. Thank you, AJC. I appreciate that. Y'all, I'm going through pictures to delete, and a picture of Roman with the gray contacts. Well, to the trash he goes. I can't. Everything Mandy says is trash. She's a trash champ. God damn. I'm not going to lie. I'm not interested in Mandy's reign either, but it's definitely cute. I mean, if you say so. Me personally, I was only interested in her opponents. I didn't really care for the match or where it was going. I just wanted to know who was going to win. That's it. Yes, I agree. If Piper and Nikki lose, they should stay in NXT. They would have great matches and they could work on their team to become strong. Thank you, MB Squad. I appreciate that. Cute how? Because we is bored. And the gears are whack. Girl, give Mandalika her props. The fact that I say she's champion is the props that all the props she's gonna get from me. I know you was talking to Rico, but I'm just saying that's all the props she's gonna get from me. I wish we could put memes in the comments, but this will do. Ciao. We also got a couple of other matches today that solidified a couple of matches for NXT and for Worlds Collide. So we got, it was in my bag. So we got the mixed tag team match with Lash Legend and Pretty Deadly. And Fallon was with Brinson, Briggs and Jensen. I can never get that shit out right. Briggs and Jensen. Briggs and Jensen. Briggs and fucking Jensen. Okay. Ultimately, Pretty Deadly and Lash Legend ended up winning the match. Pretty Deadly and Lash Legend ended up winning the match, but this led to a full-on brawl with Gallus, who actually cost him the match, and they all started fighting in the middle of the ring. There was a 6-man tag team match that happened. That was the main event for the night. But we got a match with Zoe Starks and Miss Kiana. Now, Kiana decided to cut her little promo with all these damn letters behind her name. Half of them letters don't mean nothing, which says a lot about her. Kiana's stupid ass came down there with that briefcase bag and her flat ass ponytail, and she came down there to fight Zoe Starks, to which she decided to go in on her for losing against Mandy. Never mind the fact that she lost to Nikita Lyons a while ago, but live your best life. She brought her stupid ass out there with her glasses and everything, and I guess she felt like she needed to wrestle in them too. But anyway, she came out there. They had their match, which wasn't bad, and she lost. Zoe won. She tried to hit Zoe in the back like she did Nikita a few weeks prior, and Nikita came out there. She had some bomb ass shoes on. I don't know what kind of shoes she had. Was they Jordans, Jared?
I didn't see.
You didn't see her shoes? But she had some real nice, they was red and white, orange on the toe, but red and white around the other part of the shoe. It was dope. I ain't gonna front. It was dope. I ain't like her outfit, but her shoes was cute. Anyway, she tried to attack Zoe, but Nikita ended up spearing the shit out her ass. And that's how she was, and tried to kick her, but the bitch got out the ring. So, Kiana walked away with her big ass grandma bag. And she was gone. That was pretty much it. Then we saw the 6-man tag team match. It was between the Creed brothers and Gallus. This match ultimately ended up in a massive brawl between the 4 tag teams that run this division. Gallus, the Creed brothers, Pretty Deadly, and Briggs and Jensen. I got it right this time, didn't I? Good. This led ultimately to what I said last week. This was going to be a setup of a fatal 4-way. I thought it was going to be a triple threat, but they made it a fatal 4-way because I thought they were going to add Pretty Deadly, but I wasn't sure. But they did. It's a fatal 4-way for the NXT tag team titles and the NXT UK titles. Title unification match for that championship. Now, every championship in NXT has been contested except for Carmelo's, to which he decided that he was going to go out and have a pissy match about. He was very upset that there was no challenges for him. He's just so great in the game that there's no one who can beat him. No one in NXT who can best him. Him and Trick Williams, his ultimate ball hanger, was out there just calling it, just really laying it on thick for everybody. Here comes Ricochet. Okay? The king of the flippy flips. Ricochet came out there and said a few things that have been true. Okay? Ricochet shut all that shit down real quick like. And then, Carmelo did what every weak ass competitor does. When they come up against somebody who actually provides a challenge, they get real huffy and puffy and they like, hold me back. They take it off their coat and shit. But you're really not taking off your coat, bro. Like, you're really not. Here come Trick trying to hit him. He missed. Ended up getting kicked in the face. And then, boom. Carmelo tried to hit something. Bam. Ended up getting taken out at the same time. And so it was set in stone. It's going to be Ricochet versus Carmelo Hayes for that North American Championship at Worlds Collide. Now, some of the people who do not have championships who are going up against those who do, that's kind of the point of Worlds Collide. You have main roster talent coming back to NXT, colliding the two worlds. It's not hard. It's really elementary. But if you never passed first grade, you probably ain't going to understand what's going on here. Okay? So let me go back to some of your comments. When she goes back to being a powerhouse, lays off the tanner, and gets the better gear, I'll give her some props. Ciao. Props for what? Skating by, making her wait when it's just the big ones. Eartha Kitt laugh. I can't with you. I can't. Do you see Carmelo losing if he doesn't? Do you think Ricochet should stay in NXT? I do not think Ricochet should stay in NXT. I think Ricochet should stay on the main roster on SmackDown. Ricochet is a very good seat filler in terms of the main roster on SmackDown. He puts on very good matches, and as long as Ricochet performs to the caliber that he needs, he should stay on the main roster. Do I think Carmelo should lose at Worlds Collide? No. I think Carmelo should drop that title to somebody in NXT. And if he loses to Ricochet, I'm not going to shit on it because it's going to be a bomb match. Either way, it's going to be a fire match, okay? But I personally don't think Carmelo should drop it to Ricochet. However, I won't be mad about it, if that makes sense. Speaking of Shayna's NXT reign, when she beat Bianca and broke her undefeated streak, I about fell to the floor and fainted. Sorry to hear that. Laying off the tanner will never happen. The cousin fuckers and Fallon, that's not fair. Okay, that's not fair to call him that. I am not calling him that. I think Worlds Collide is definitely going to be a good rival against All Out. In my opinion, Worlds Collide has a better card. Depends on who's watching it. For us, we prefer. I'll speak for myself. I prefer NXT to AEW. I like the structure of wrestling in WWE over AEW's chaotic nature. A lot of things in AEW to me don't have much meaning or worth. They'll throw together a match simply based off of a name, and I don't really care for that. I need to see some substance behind what I'm watching. I would really prefer that form of wrestling. I like my wrestling to be a little bit more structured. Some people don't, but that's just what I like. That's what I like to watch. A lot of people, don't like their wrestling that way. They prefer it to be a little bit more, unpredictable. I don't need my wrestling to be predictable, but I do need it to make sense. You know what I'm saying? Okay. I am going to use the ladies' room. I shall return. Hold, please.
Damn right we take turns being wrong. I get real accountable when I'm alone. I get real about it all when I'm alone. It's so crazy missing you. I get on. Now Julio made me Scorpio, and I might hit your phone up with that bye. Listen my da. Listen that all of this love is toxic. All of this love is toxic. All these kisses and hugs and toxic. You a damn drug. Toxic. If you don't wanna see me, if you don't wanna see me, did a full 180, crazy, thinking about the way I once did the heartbreak change me, baby, but look at where I ended up. I'm okay already, so moved on, it's scary, I'm not where you left me at all. So, if you don't wanna see me dancing with somebody, don't show up, don't come out, don't stop caring about me now, walk away, you know how, don't stop caring.
Smooth with a rhyme. 5 years plus doing musical grind. Hip hop and beautiful grind. I compose unusual lines. I'll talk with a man like 5, 6, 7, 8. Let me demonstrate. They need lifts, but this one elevates. They act stiff, but this one penetrates. Like heavyweight. Musical grind. Beautiful grind. Heavyweight. Usual nine. Like heavyweight. Londoner. Wonder my genes, I'm a conjurer. North, east, south, and west, I'm a wanderer. Think before I move, I'm a ponderer. Impose my will on all, I'm a conqueror. War me, better off death for the opera. Couldn't see my.
All right. Let me get back to y'all comments. Now he love. Why you had to say that, Rico? Child, did you talk about Axiom and Nathan Frazier? No. Check, see if that was mom and dad. Anyway, no, I didn't talk about them. They're gonna have a best of 3. That's pretty much it. They did have a nice little back and forth, but it wasn't that important to me specifically. But they're gonna have a best of 3 while looking at WWE comics. So that was the thing. Ricochet, I cut off my Hulu after that tag match. Well, you missed something cute. Tiffany said, this is very easy to follow, but some of y'all is dumb. I mean, they are. I want Solo to get that NA championship, but I feel like people won't care. I feel like Solo is beyond NXT at this point, and they could have been gave that title to Solo. But when he come back from injury, if he wants to take it off of Carmelo, I think that's a very good opponent for Carmelo to go up against and to drop it to. That's the person he should drop it to. I'm with you, Kenny. I hope one day we get Drew McIntyre versus Cameron Grimes. Really? Interesting. I never would have thought about putting them two together. Might have to let that play out on 2K first. But anyways, also I'm just sitting here eating cubes of mozzarella. Hey, live your best life. By the time Solo is back from injury, people won't care. I beg to differ. I thought you were lactose intolerant, Kenny. Which do you think will be better pay-per-view, Worlds Collide or Clash at the Castle? Honestly, I think both of them will be equally good. I think Worlds Collide will give us the physicality that we're looking for, and the true, I guess you could say, spirit of competition will be at Worlds Collide more so than it will be at Clash at the Castle. Clash at the Castle is going to be a determination, first of all, of Triple H's first pay-per-view without Vince McMahon being involved in any way, shape, or form. So, one, it's going to be a testament to his booking, because SummerSlam was booked by Vince, per Vince, the whole 9. Clash at the Castle, on the other hand, may have started out with Vincent, but it's Triple H's first pay-per-view on his own. So this pay-per-view is a very, very big deal. It's going to be able to tell, it's going to give us the telltale of whether Triple H can book a show on his own, on the main roster, and really give us something to look forward to for years to come. We know what he's capable of, but him being on his own, being at the helm of everything, that's a whole different ball of wax. So I'm very curious as to what he's going to throw at us at Clash at the Castle and how things are going to play out. Worlds Collide, I think, is more of a Shawn Michaels type of project, with Triple H probably being involved on the back end or a little bit in the front. But this is more specifically for, because Shawn Michaels is the one who's over NXT. So we're going to have a very interesting thing to see how both men book and run these shows. From what we've seen for the last couple of months, they've done fairly well at making sure they have solid storylines, great matches, and good matchups with everybody. It really works out in their favor, especially on the main roster. Triple H has managed to do a lot on the main roster, but I have said this before and I'm saying it again. The shiny toy syndrome is going to wear off very soon. These pop-ups of new people coming or old people coming back are only going to sit and be, something great for a little while. Just like with Tony Khan, you can't rely on people coming back. You've got to be able to build the show from where the people are. And that's where his true test of whether he can do this or whether, he's going to be able to maintain the ratings and do all of that is going to lie. Because if he starts booking these shows like he booked NXT, you might as well say that it's not going to be long before the main roster is in the dumps as well. So hopefully things will shape up and he'll have different matchups and have different people going after different titles. And we'll get to see rivalries outside of the title and some really fun stuff for years to come on both brands. And of course, NXT Europe is coming, even though NXT UK is now defunct. NXT Europe is coming and they're going to have a full roster of people in NXT Europe. It starts next year in 2023. We got a lot to look forward to when it comes to wrestling. And if you love AEW, it doesn't seem to be going anywhere. Warner and Discovery seem to be very happy with AEW and their ratings and how everything is going for them. So they're not going anywhere anytime soon. Eventually, they're going to have to, rely on some other shit. But hopefully we'll get to see how both companies expand or progress and change and how things are going to work out in their favor. But like I said, the true test is going to be when these pop-ups of older stars or former stars, formerly released stars stop and they really have to start relying on building stories. Right? It'll be too late and that NXT crowd floppy as hell. I disagree. I've never met someone who's lactose intolerant who gives a fuck about their lactose intolerance. Dry dust. I am, but I'm going to eat cheese regardless. I just wanted to make sure I remembered that. Mandy Rose have been carrying the NXT women's division. Not really. So Mandy came into the women's division at a time where many of the girls who had been carrying the division were on their way out. Now, a lot of people had become disinterested with the NXT women's division, which, live your best life. Some of the girls that we loved had either were injured or were going to the main roster. Other girls were not ready yet. They weren't prepared for the main roster, so they weren't going to go up. And then all of the girls that are in there now are all PC girls with the exception of Wendy and a few others. But they're coming along just nicely. Today, Lash Legend did exceptionally well in her match, in that mixed tag team match. She did beautifully against Fallon, someone who was objectively smaller than her in weight and height. She caught Fallon beautifully when Fallon did that crossbody over the top rope. She caught her beautifully when she did a dive on all three of them, Pretty Deadly and Fallon. She's coming along nicely, and things progress as they do more ring work. As they work more in the ring, they will get better. They will improve. They will have better fights and better matches in general. To say Mandy is carrying the NXT women's division implies that there's nobody in the division that can contest her, and there are many women in that division that can contest her and should be contesting against her. Mandy is not an anomaly. She's just one woman with a belt and happened to have two people on her side to help her maintain it. Now, her match against Zoe, that wasn't the case. Zoe was bested. And like I said, when she fought her, I gave her props for that match. Every match before that, sloppy, lazy, and that bullshit knee she uses is bullshit. there's nothing about Mandy that says carrying the women's division. If anything, Mandy should be glad her ass is in NXT and not on the main roster. And that's just where I'll leave it. That's debatable, very much so. I like to see Undertaker produce a pay-per-view. I don't. I'm gonna be honest. I don't want to see Undertaker at all. If you want to see Undertaker do something, he's got a one-man show that he's been touring around. I don't know what the fuck he's doing on the show, but he has a one-man show. You can see what he producing there. But other than that, I don't want to see Undertaker anywhere near the WWE. That's just me personally. All right. I was trying to find the promos for Worlds Collide, but they haven't put everything up yet, so I'm waiting for it. Hopefully he's sitting the hell down. Girl, he ain't sitting down. He got a whole tour he doing. It's all the dead man, the one man show. It's a dead, I don't know, undead man, dead man, some type of bullshit. Now, yesterday I forgot to talk about Miz. For that, I apologize because I completely forgot to talk about Miz. So Dexter is still tormenting Miz. They did find him. He did show up on Monday Night Raw yesterday, and he had a match with Bobby Lashley. I did tell y'all that he, pretty much was being tormented. He thought that he didn't see him, but he did. He thought he saw him, and he did see him. But after the show was over, Miz was so rattled and so afraid. Ciampa was trying to talk to him, but Miz was like, "No, I'm leaving. I gotta go." He gets in the car, and Dexter was in the back of the car. Now, Tip, what do you think will be the best match and dark horse of Worlds Collide? I honestly believe that this championship match is going to be very solid, but I don't think it's going to be match of the night. I think Carmelo Hayes and Ricochet's match is probably going to steal the show. And I think that fatal four-way for the NXT championship, the tag team championships, I most definitely think that is going to be a banger of a match. I think the girls will out okay, but I don't think that this match is going to top any of the other matches. I think the tag team match is going to be okay for the girls, but I'm leaning more towards Ricochet and Carmelo's match than the tag team championships. Maybe I would probably edge out the unification match for the NXT championships. I would probably edge that out above the fatal four-way, but I just think that fatal four-way is going to be awesome. So those are going to be my top three matches of the night. But I'm going to put Ricochet at the top with Carmelo. Tiff, I rate this show a 10 out of 10 because the principle of the show and how important the backstory is to it. That's fine. I can totally understand why, especially if you were a big NXT UK fan or a big NXT fan. I could totally understand why you would rate that show that way. Just based off the match card alone, I am 100% invested in NXT UK and NXT UK's Worlds Collide. I think both of this show alone is going to be awesome. I think it's going to be great. Do you Seth? I imagine you meant do you see Seth and Riddle feud being a 3-part match? No. Maybe. Only because Extreme Rules would only make that even better, which quite frankly, the only way that would happen is if somebody gets disqualified Saturday, which is high key possible. After the shit Seth Rollins said at this point, they should have made it a steel cage match and called it a day. But they didn't, because you need something to contain all this volatile nature that these two have. And because Extreme Rules is coming after this, I just don't see how they wouldn't go to a second part for their match. They never really had the first part, so I don't necessarily. I don't think I would call it a part 3. I'd call it a part 2. I know they've wrestled before, but in my humblest of humble opinions, I don't count that. Not as a part of the feud. So I would have to say that more than likely their match will end in a disqualification at Clash of the Castle, and then they'll end up having to finish it out at Extreme Rules. If somebody wins, I think they're going to double back and have another match at Extreme Rules, because it's not going to be able to be contained by just one fucking match. It's just not. Especially after the shit Seth Rollins said. Like I would be at your house, bro. Like, for real. Who do you want to see beat Bianca for the title? Nobody. I really want her to have like a title reign where she turns as champion, you know? I don't want Bianca to drop that title to Bayley. As much as I respect Bayley and I like Bayley, I just don't want her to drop it to Bayley. Tirza said something to me earlier, and I thought that was a pretty damn good idea. Tirza was like, she doesn't want, and shout out to Tirza because she's sick right now, so I hope she gets better. But she didn't want Bianca to drop her title to her either. So she felt like Bayley and Cole should go to SmackDown and run rump shot on SmackDown. She can take that title from Liv, which I wouldn't mind that at all. Take the title from Liv, let Liv be champion, and then she, take the title off of Liv and be champion over there. They could then move into having, Bianca go up against Liv at Survivor Series if they decide to do it that way. But she was like, you could have them go over there and take over SmackDown, then have, Dakota and Io challenge for the titles, become champions again. And you can still have, if Sasha and Naomi are returning, you could still have Sasha and Naomi come back and challenge them for the belts if that's what you want to do. But do it on SmackDown. Don't do it on Raw. And I kind of understand that. When Charlotte comes back, I hope Charlotte goes to Raw. And I hope that her and Bianca have a true feud with each other, because they're the only two. The last time that they met, Bianca did not beat her. She is the only woman in the Four Horsemen women group that Bianca hasn't beaten. And I know that sticks in her craw. And I just think that she should definitely be able to beat Charlotte Flair. You know what I'm saying? So, Tip, are they changing NXT 2.0 to or just NXT UK? I honestly don't know. I would imagine that they would, because that Triple H is probably not a big fan of the colorful NXT 2.0, as are not a lot of people. Some people call it Nickelodeon, which I think is mad disrespectful, but whatever. I don't know, but I feel like if they're going to change the titles, then NXT should change somewhat, but I don't know what they're going to do. I wouldn't go back to the black and gold. It was very dark and dreary in there, and I like it being lit up and you can see everything, and it's open. You know what I'm saying? It's a little bit more open in there. I hope they would go back to Full Sail and, continue out at Full Sail, but doesn't look like that's going to be the case. It looks like they're going to stay in the CWC for a while. But I'm not sure. I would hope so, since NXT UK is now gone and they're going to, change these belts. I would imagine that the whole show would get a revamp. I wouldn't mind if down the road Io got it. Well, Io is in the faction now, right? Like, she's in a faction now, so how far down the road you talking? Like, when they break up? You're already wishing for them to break up? The story would have to be well crafted. I'm really not interested in Bianca and Bayley, are you? Honestly, I've seen Bianca and Bailey wrestle so many times that it's not necessarily something that I'm interested in seeing. Um, we all know what Bailey's capable of. We all know what Bianca's capable of. And Bianca doesn't have anything to prove against Bailey, but Bailey does have something to prove against Bianca. Um, in my humblest of humble opinions, she's gotten many title shots against Bianca when she was SmackDown Women's Champion. And just because she got injured and came back, she is old. Well, no, she had the match at Hell in a Cell, and they were inside the cell. She lost. That was it. So yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily ideal, but I kind of understand it. To be honest, I love NXT 2.0 setup and lighting. I don't necessarily have a problem with the setup and lighting, but I know that a lot of other people do, and I'm pretty sure Trip didn't expect for NXT to turn into this beautiful, bright place. I'm pretty sure that was not the case for him. But you know, things change. Things come and go. I kind of wish they would have had Kevin talk to Braun Breaker too, because Kevin's a former NXT champion, you know. But they didn't have Johnny Gargano come in there, which I thought would have been kind of cool for them, you know. The only problem I have is where the announce table sits. Yeah, it sits off to the side, which I thought was a little weird. I was like, why is it over there? And then I thought about it and I was like, oh, that's because that's where where it's like open at.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing over there. So, you know. I don't even know what that is. I'm not even going to attempt to say it. Well, the people who don't like it are bitches. Oh, shit. I was in NXT to Thunderdome. Do you think it'd sell out? What? He would send it to the Thunderdome? They should change the placement of the announcers table after EO injured herself on it. Dangerous. Oh, it's dangerous. Shit. I could not. Leave me alone. I missed the Thunderdome. That time was a vibe. Uh, I liked the Thunderdome because we had to have it. But what I really liked about it was that you could really cut a shitty promo, and that pin drop in there with them, even with them piping in the noise, like that pin drop was fucking everything. You'd be like, oh, that felt fucking flat. You know what I'm saying? Like that was one thing I loved. Like they could not say like Roman's best promos. His best promos was in the Thunderdome. Like that was when he was at peak Nino Brownness. You know what I'm saying? Once that crowd came back, he started pandering and shit. I was like, oh, that would be a waste of fucking money to send NXT to the Thunderdome, and you know that, sir. Well, the Thunderdome didn't stay in one place, you guys. It didn't. It moved from Florida. It moved from one venue to the next. And at first, they started filming the shows inside the PC because that's all that was allowed to be opened. And then they filmed the shows inside the inside the massive ass parks, you know. The baseball stadiums and everywhere else, they filmed them in there with the massive media boards around. I wonder what they did with the media boards. NXT Black and Gold, I love it, but it seemed like an underground show. I think that was kind of the point. Imagine the pop if Adam Cole popped up in the camera to talk about Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker. That's more than likely not going to happen anytime soon. Adam Cole is contractually bound to AEW. So he more than likely will not show up in anybody's WWE NXT camera anytime soon. Back to what you were saying, NB Squad. I think that was kind of the point. I think the way that NXT used to be and the way that it looked was kind of the point to make it look like it was underground, grungy, indie like show. I really like. He said the media boards are on the damn barricades on Raw and SmackDown. You're probably right, but it was a hell of a lot of them for them to have just around the ring. Them ain't all of them, babe. They said multi-purpose. That ain't all of them boards. It's a few of them. Tiff, what is your favorite WWE arena?
Yeah.
My favorite arena.
Hello.
I liked Stand and Deliver setup. Um See, I liked when hold on a second because I want to make sure I get the pay-per-view right. There was a pay-per-view that I absolutely loved the look of it. In your house. Was it in your house? What was he doing?
Downstairs watching TV.
What was he watching?
Oh, he can watch this cable. Because I got that remote. Dad hit the other one.
Obviously not well enough. Use the box?
No, he turned the TV on by the TV. And he was trying to use the box to change the channel.
Well, who was calling you?
He was.
Why?
I don't know.
What the fuck was the name of...
I want him to go to bed.
He's not going to bed, so...
He's bringing in there lunch around here.
Try to tell you that, but don't nobody listen to me. It was not a takeover. Oh, God, I can't think of the name of it. But the 2021 NXT Arena was nice. Okay. Stand and Deliver Arena 2021 and NXT. I bet that new Titantron is a bunch of the media boards too. That damn ringtone always come at the perfect time. I loved NXT 2021 and SmackDown 2020 before the pandemic. The The Giant Raw Ramp and the Royal Rumble 2019 are honorable mentions. You're right, Aaliyah. That's why it's so tall. I'm very old school when it comes to SmackDown. I preferred the SmackDown arena when they had the fist, which was in the 2000s when it first came around.
According to Derek Bright, that was when WWE was in the fisting.
Who said that?
Derek Bright stupid ass when they were doing Talking Smack, and he was like, that was his favorite arena when they had the giant fist. He was like, at the time WWE wasn't really in the fisting, and
you thought that was okay to say?
He didn't mean it like that when he said.
Yes, he did. He knew what he meant.
Because when he said it, Renee looked at him like, the fuck?
That's nasty. You're nasty. Nasty. Anyway. You know what I used to like? I used to really love when they actually set up the stage for the pay-per-views. Like, I like WrestleMania because WrestleMania looks like WrestleMania. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But they used to have props and all types of shit set up for, like, the pay-per-views. And if it was, like, you know, a Halloween-themed pay-per-view, like, what was the last Halloween pay-per-view they had? You remember the name of it? It was Halloween Havoc, right? Like, they had Halloween Havoc set up to look like Halloween Havoc. You know what I'm saying? So Halloween Havoc looked like a Halloween pay-per-view. I wish that they would take the pay-per-views now and set them up so they look like pay-per-views. You know what I'm saying? Extreme Rules is always purple and green. So make the LED boards have purple and green or something. And then, like, put all types, like, they usually have, like, chairs and shit everywhere. But it's Extreme Rules. Like, put fake barbed wire on the fucking barricades and like have smoke come in on that's only on the ground so it looks like shit is fucked up. Make it look like a fucking apocalypse is coming. You know what I'm saying? That's extreme. You know what I'm saying? Like, make it worthwhile. Then you have Survivor Series. Survivor Series used to look like a war bunker. You remember? Mm-hmm. Like, it used to be set up to where they had like those sandbags everywhere. There was like they had all types of shit everywhere. Like, I used to fucking love Survivor Series just for the aesthetic of it, right? And they just don't do that shit anymore. And I wish they did. I think my favorite stage set was when Seth Rollins crashed in at Mania on Roman's ass, and then it was at the top of the stage swinging that belt around.
Oh, yeah, that shit was funny.
That pissed me off so bad. What are your favorite WWE throwback matches? Ooh. One of my favorite throwback matches was, I never can remember the year, so y'all can figure it out. But it was John Cena versus Edge, and they were in Canada. And I believe it was a ladder match that they were in. If I recall, that was one of my favorite matches. One of my absolute favorite matches was The Undertaker versus Randy Orton at WrestleMania. I still rewatch that match to this day. It's absolutely, hands down, one of my favorite rewatch matches because Randy was such a dick back then, and Undertaker was like the ultimate guy, you know. Women's wise, I still say that one of my favorite feuds on the main roster, and it's not as old as it should be to me, but it's Charlotte versus Charlotte versus Sasha Banks. And they played hot potato with that belt, but I fucking love that feud. I've gone back and watched it when it was on the WWE network, but I haven't watched it lately. I don't think it's available on the Peacock network at the moment, but I would have to go back and see. But that's one of my favorite periods of time when the women were really trying to prove that they were just as capable and just as important as the men. That was one of my favorite periods of time in wrestling because they really made you invested in both of them. Whether you were a Charlotte fan or a Sasha fan, those matches were solid matches. It doesn't matter if they played hot potato with that belt or not. You were rooting for somebody. It was a good matchup between the two of them. They were exhausted when it was over. It was just, they were both solid wrestlers. And that was one of the reasons why one, I fell in love with Charlotte Flair because I recognized her work ethic, and two, I really, really thought Sasha Banks was gonna be one of the biggest stars in the E, and I'll be damned if she wasn't. Um, Another favorite match of mine that's old school that most people probably won't remember is it was Jazz, and I believe she went up against Trish Stratus. I want to say it was Trish. I could be mixing her up with somebody else, but I think it was Jazz and Trish Stratus, and they were fighting. That was a pretty solid match. I wasn't a big fan of Trish and Lita's feuds as much as everybody else was. I was more a fan of the rivalry itself than the actual match. Um, I used to love watching Triple H and Shawn Michaels fight because they fought like Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn fight. It was always hard hitting. It was always a uphill battle with the two of them. Like they were always fighting. Um, who else did I really love watching? Especially back in the day. I was a big Jeff Hardy fan back in the day. Not a real time interview. I was a big Jeff Hardy fan back in the day. So when Jeff won that title, that was like that was goals. Like that was just everything. When he finally won, I was so happy for him. Um, I think one of my favorite feuds, though, to just wrap this up, since I'm going all over the place, it would have to be Edge and Matt Hardy's because it was deep rooted in real shit. And despite it being real, Matt Hardy was able to be a professional all the way through. I may have my issues with Matt Hardy, but I've never denied the fact that that man protected Edge all the way through that feud. And he could have very well fought him because I definitely would have. And I would have, I, and I say this about nobody, but like the way that Lita did that shit, she ended up getting her comeuppance in the end because her biggest fan stole her boyfriend from her and married her. AJ Lee was her biggest fan, and she was dating CM Punk when she was in the E, and CM Punk left her for AJ Lee and married her. Isn't that some shit? That's fucked up.
If you want to know the true definition of karma and irony,
But karma is ugly. You feel me? So Tiff, a freaky gal, she likes the big fist. Oh, I do not. I don't like it like that. Don't even do that. No. I like the fist that was on the Smackdown set. I don't like fisting. Okay, mind your business. Who is your favorite women's superstar from the early 2000s? Back in the day, before I knew Gail Kim was on some problematic shit, I used to really love Gail Kim. I liked Eve Torres. I thought she had promise. I like Victoria. I thought of all the girls, Victoria was the most talented woman in that division, and she was often regaled to being the comic relief or the scary girl. And I just love Victoria. I thought Victoria was fire. She creeped me out sometimes, but I still loved her. Molly Holly, until she got to that right to censor bullshit. Ivy was good. Jacqueline was good. When Jacqueline and them left and it was time for the girls to come in, I paid less and less attention. But despite my hatred for Michelle McCool, I actually did enjoy her wrestling on occasion. Melina was a good wrestler at the time, despite her problematic shit. Alicia Fox was decent, but she got on my nerves. Naomi was a 2000s girl. I love Naomi. I thought Naomi was solid, and they really didn't give her a chance until after that. I didn't care for the Bellas. I never did, and I never will. That's just the truth. A lot of people ask me about them, and I just didn't like them. I thought they were bottom of the barrel wrestlers, and they weren't good, and they were making it seem like they were, and they just weren't, in my opinion. Um, Anything else I would have to go back and watch in order to see, but yeah, that's as far as I can remember. See, I have been wanting specialized sets and LED signs for years. Tip, how do you feel about the big screen on Raw and SmackDown, especially on pay-per-views? I don't have a problem with the massive LED screen. I just wish they would utilize it to its best ability. So, in my opinion, if you're gonna have that many screens up there, then use those bitches. I mean, during the matches, play the goddamn match on the screen because the people that are at the back, where they come in at the entrance, they can't fucking see unless they're looking up at the Titantron. You know what I'm saying? So, in my opinion, play the goddamn match right there. They can turn their head and look this way. Oh shit, they're going to match. I can see everything. You know what I'm saying? Unless they're fighting down the street. I mean, like not down the street, but unless they're fighting up the ramp, they don't need to look that way. But like, I would have them display the matches on that damn screen, and they don't. But I don't have a problem with the big screens. I like them. I think they give you a nice updated HD feel. Lots of those matches are available on YouTube for free. Oh, nice. Cool. I feel like I'm looking at a real-time interview. Who do you want to be in the Hall of Fame this year? Definitely want to see Batista inducted. Hello, Donnie. Definitely want to see Batista inducted. If we're going to do women this year, I really want them to induct a woman who... I don't want it to be Michelle McCool, and I have a feeling that it's going to be...
Excuse me. Allergies. Jesus.
I don't want it to be Michelle McCool, but I have a feeling it's going to be her. I want them to induct China for sure. And Jared's being petty, but I do want them to induct China. And I want them to do it with some grace and class and give that woman the respect that she is due. I wouldn't mind seeing Vicky or Victoria as they have put in there. But I just have this inkling that they're gonna induct Michelle McCool this year, and I hate it. I hate it. Rico said, "Bless you." Do you see any pop-ups at Clash of the Castle? I honestly don't, but if they do, good for them. There's a lot of rumors going around, but until I see something solid and concrete, I ain't saying jack about jack. That's ironic. That was ironic as fuck. What's your favorite Charlotte title reign? Mine would be the NXT title reign. No, my favorite Charlotte title reign was her very first main roster title reign with the Raw Women's Championship. I think that was when she first came into her bag, and that was when she was at her rawest in terms of the start of her villain story. And that was one of my favorite times for Charlotte because she was still a solid wrestler. She was fairly getting her feet wet in the game. She had Dana by her side, so she always had some insurance. If it wasn't Dana, it was her father before she got rid of him. She always had that insurance, and she was just genuinely chiming out, just chucking, having match after match after match, and most of them were damn near classics. Charlotte was putting in work during those days. So her first Raw Women's Championship title reign was absolutely my favorite of her title reigns. I loved Eve, Victoria, Melina, Double K. Yeah, I didn't really care for Kelly like that. I just didn't. Lele too, she could go. Layla was all right. I knew Naomi was going to be a star when I saw her FCW days. See, I was not aware of the indies in terms of FCW or OVW during my time of watching wrestling. I would just watch wrestling and shut off the TV. I didn't know where they came from or how WWE found them, booked them. It wasn't of my concern. My only concern was that they were there and that I was assessing what I saw from right there. Seeing what they have to go through to get there is interesting, and it gives you a whole new perspective of what they have to go through now that they're in the big leagues. But I never knew anything about it, and I still don't know what her FCW days were like, except for that little shit she did with Cameron and Byron, the Ghetto Girl stint that she did. I wasn't a big fan of that. at all. I want to see Victoria in the Hall of Fame this year, or Mickey. Okay, I was tired. Child, I see. How you doing? Okay. Oh, Aaliyah said, "Bless you too." Do you think Tory Wilson deserved to be in the Hall of Fame? Two things can be right at the same time. Tory Wilson was a commodity in the WWE in her tenure, and she kept eyes on the product. And if that is, good enough for you to have someone in the Hall of Fame, then so be it. She was an integral part of the women's division, if that's what you want to call it during that time. Um, but at the same time, um, my opinion of it was that there were other women that could have been inducted before her, and especially women like China, women like Victoria and Nikki. They hadn't inducted them yet, and they put Tory in first, and I just thought that was weird. But if Tory can be in there, then so can Booker T's wife Charmel, which is why she's in there. And she was one of the only black female ballets that they had in a very long time, if not ever. So, yeah, like I said, two things can be right at the same time. She commanded a lot of attention, and she was one of the number one girls, if not the number one girl, for quite some time on the WWE brand. So I understand why she was inducted. It's just I felt like she could have been inducted with like Stacy Keibler and like another girl together, because both of them kind of had a similar aesthetic. They did the same thing, in my opinion. I wasn't trying to sleep this long. Well, baby, you did. The smoking knocked you out, didn't it? That weed was just too good. Eric said, he was out. You got to stop smoking, baby. You got to stop. You got to slow that down, honey. Any more questions?
Unfortunately, you were left lying on the ground after attacking Apollo Crews. However, tonight it seems that you have avenged that action with a win. So how does that feel?
I'm not surprised. Last week, I wrote out the welcome mat for Apollo Crews. I had the lights, I had the production, I even went on Instagram Live, give him the Grayson Waller up. And what did Apollo do with that spotlight? He made himself look like an ass. He put his hands on me. The cold hard truth is, everyone wants to make Apollo Crews look like this good guy, but he's not. Everyone wants to paint me as a villain. I did everything I could to help him last week. I couldn't help him find any charisma. Because only Grayson Waller got charisma like that. He walked out there last week with disrespect. He wants to talk about championship matches before we've even got in the ring together. I took that personally. Apollo Crews thinks he can see into the future. And tonight, I guess he didn't see that coming. And that is the Grayson Waller. Usually I don't like what you're wearing, but that's fire, lads.
Ew. He's a shitty human being. I'm just going to say that right there. Grayson Waller is a weird motherfucker. A weird motherfucker. It's just weird. Okay. All right. Do you think Jade hype is over? Probably not. Do you think Jade is overhyped? Okay, so are we talking about Cora Jade, or are we talking about Jade from AEW? Because if we're talking about Jade from AEW, no, I don't. I think that she is one of a kind in looks. Her wrestling has improved tremendously, and I think Jade Cargill is an amazing competitor and a beautiful woman. She looks the part, embodies the part. She is what she claims to be, a dominant champion. Now, me personally, I would have been put the main title on Jade Cargill, if you want to be honest. After I would have her drop this title, but it wouldn't have been to Athena. I would have had her drop it to like Ruby. let Ruby have it, and then I would have had Jade enter into this interim championship with anyway, this interim championship with Tony Storm and them, had her win that, and then when Rosa comes back, goes up against Jade Cargill, and then boom, Jade Cargill will still remain champion. No shade to Rosa, but it don't seem like they give a fuck about Rosa in AEW, and Jade Cargill is the girl. I would have her go up against Rosa and beat her, and she would be the main champion until further notice. Britt Baker could try to come and get the title back from her as well, and I would drop her ass like a hot potato too. Sure would. Don't give a goddamn. Do you have the 6 brown chick stuff today? Today is Tuesday, not Wednesday, love. I mean, I've been up since 4. I had to take my mom to work. Well, babe, sleepy. Who do you think is the worst women's wrestler ever? Dawn Marie. What's your favorite Sasha reign? Mine would be Smackdown reign when she took the title from Bayley. No. My favorite Sasha title reign. I went back and watched NXT, and Sasha was a bitch. She was such a bitch. It would be between her Raw title reign, the first one. I don't know why I'm always partial to the first ones, but I like the first title reign she had. And even though it was short and sweet, it was obviously with Charlotte, so I like that one. But her NXT title reign was really, really good. Her first SmackDown title reign, it was okay. It wasn't like amazing, but it was okay. Her SmackDown title reign was okay. What's your fave Becky reign? Mine would be the Man era. I mean, I prefer the Man era to Big Time Bex. But I like Becky when she first got there. I was a fan of Becky's then, so I didn't have a problem with her first SmackDown stint, even though it was short and sweet. Bliss took it from her. I liked her being champion, being the inaugural SmackDown Women's Champion, but I really liked her man title reign because she was confident and she was strong and she went through, and plus she was 2 belts. You know, she was double belts. She was double belted out, babe. What's your favorite Bayley reign? Mine would be the SD reign. I didn't really follow Bayley like that, so I don't have a favorite of Bayley's title reigns. I do remember Bayley being Raw Women's Champion, and she had a good NXT run as champion, and her SmackDown title reign. You know what I've come to realize is that I prefer the title reigns to be riddled with matches and just full-on rivalries and title shots. And I find that a lot of the girls' title reigns are not like that nowadays. And I just wanted more for Bayley as champion. And she didn't have it, you know. I liked Bayley's NXT title run the most. I felt like she had the most challengers in NXT. She had some of the best fights there. Her rivalries were really good, especially the last one she had. I feel so old because I remember matches from the early 90s. Child, I don't. Do you see Britt coming to WWE when Adam leaves AEW? It's not set in stone that Adam's going to leave AEW. And unless WWE wants Britt Baker, I don't see how she would be coming over to the E. Quite frankly, I don't think she would be a good fit in the E. Sasha only has about 3 good reigns. I only liked one of them. So, who in your eyes has the best gear, men and women? When it's not a ripoff of somebody else's gear is when I like it the most. I think Ricochet's gear is okay. Ciampa's gear with the Miz. Miz always has really solid gear. A lot of people don't give Miz his props, but his fucking coats that he wears to the ring are fucking dope. Like that neon green one that he wears, fire. Absolute fire. Ciampa's coat that matches his, fire. The gear he wears now, it has his face on it. And some of the things he says is written in neon green and pink on his gear. That shit is legit. Like Miz has some dope ass gear. The men, I don't really pay attention to a lot of their gear often, and this is more of a question suited for Rico and Donnie, because I don't really focus on a lot of the gear. But things that I like, and things that I don't. I think that Sasha Banks is very solid gear most of the time. I always love Naomi's gear. Bianca's gear is my favorite because it's always uniquely her, and she always finds some kind of way to spin something for herself, and she always comes out there with something dope, and I really like Bianca's gear. The Street Profits gear is always uniquely geared towards whatever city they're in and what they feel like wearing at the time. So if they're in a baseball stadium, they wear baseball inspired gear. If they're in a stadium that caters to basketball, they wear basketball inspired gear. If it's football, then it's football inspired gear. I like the Street Profits gear, and again, Bianca makes their gear, so I really like their gear as well. The females in the E have pretty decent gear sometimes. I love Charlotte's gear, especially this Evil Queen version of Charlotte. Her fucking gear knocks. I don't care what nobody says. That Venom gear she had, fire, where she had the half gold and half black gear, and the Venom was eating the gear. That shit was fucking legit. I love it. I love her robes. Her robes are dope. That Thanos robe is fire. I absolutely love Charlotte's gear. She's one of my favorites when it comes to the gear. I think that when Alexa Bliss was the goddess, and then right before she turned into Dark Bliss, she used to have some pretty unique pieces too. She would do Freddie inspired gear. She has Buzz Lightyear inspired gear. She has Harley Quinn inspired gear. It was subtle things in her gear that would let you know that's what it was. But she had pretty decent gear. If Zelina Vega was like, her cosplaying is cool. The first time I seen her cosplay was when she was who was she, babe? With the mask. She was a Street Fighter character, I think.
Vega.
She was Vega because her name is Vega. But anyway, she was cosplayed as Vega when she was in the Royal Rumble one year, and I just thought, I was like, okay, it's cute because Vega's gear was just a mask in that thing.
And then he had on the tights, like the purple and yellow tights.
Yeah, but only thing that was her gear was purple and yellow.
Yeah.
But she didn't have on the tights.
Yeah, he just had the white mask and the cloth.
Right. So that was, and Vega did pretty decent with her. What was the gear she had that I didn't know what she was? Was she Madara?
She was Madara, yeah, from Naruto.
She was Madara from Naruto. So I didn't figure it out until AJ told me, and then I looked it up, and I was like, okay, she does look like Madara. So I apologize to her for that. She does pretty decent cosplay in that regard, but her cosplay on her page is fucking legit. I was like, why can't you come out here in some shit like this? Like, what are you doing? Girl. And then the queen gimmick, like I would have went and got me a whole new crown made, like Xavier did when Roman crushed his crown. You remember that shit? Mm-hmm. Xavier got a new crown, remember? And his crown was kind of anime looking.
Mm-hmm. It looked like reminded me Cell from Dragon Ball Z.
It did. That's where it was inspired from. But like I would have literally got me a brand new crown made, and my shit would have been decked out. Every time I walked out there, my shit would have been sparkling. Okay. If they wanted it to be purple, it would have had purple gems in it. But anyways, let's get back to the gear. Who else's gear do I like? I like Indy's gear. It's okay. Some of the girls' gear I'm not a big fan of, so I hate Dana Brooks' gear. I don't like Tamina's gear. for Piper's size and what she wears, I think Piper's gear is fine. I love the pants gear, but I don't think that she should be covered up just because she's a big girl. I think that was fucked up for them to make her do that. I like the pants though that she wore when she went to Crown Jewel, when she went to Jeddah and they wrestled. I liked the pants there. I thought she looked great. But I thought like maybe that would be like once or twice she would wear that. But they had her in that shit the whole time. And I was just like, something's not right here. Oh shit. I missed the live. Damn it.
Mm-hmm.
I was supposed to be on the Midwest Melanin Mafia live today.
Nope.
I'm sorry. Trinity gonna kick my ass. Anyways, so yeah, I'm sorry. I was supposed to pop in there. Who finisher and signature do you like? Y'all know I don't know nothing about no finishers and signatures. I never get the names right. Somebody always mad in the comments because I don't never get the names right. So I'm not even gonna go there. I'll say this. I liked Shotzi's submission move that she has. Rico knows the name of it. He'll put it in the comments. It's cattle something. I like that. I actually like Dakota's finisher. As much as I talk about her, I do like it because it do seem like it's effective. What is Bailey's finisher as a heel? Isn't it the Planet Rose?
I think so.
Isn't that what it's called?
Yeah,
I think that's what her finisher is called, and I like that. I like Kevin Owens' finisher when he power bombs you on the edge of the apron. That shit, I don't know why, but I love that shit. The stunner's okay, but it's not something that I would have thought Kevin would start using, but he's using it. It works for him. Where do you see Jenny going, and who would you have her feud with? Jenny is a UK girl. If you don't know who Jenny is, she's also Walter's woman. Well, she's also Walter's woman. Honestly, I would send her to Smackdown. I mean, that's where Walter is. That's where she belongs. Unless she plans on going to NXT Europe and Walter follows her, I would send her to SmackDown with Walter and she could live her best life on SmackDown. Who would she feud with? I don't know. Not sure. It's always unique. What are some disappointing moments from last year's WWE title runs that you didn't like and would change? What was it disappointing? As far as the women is concerned, Charlotte and Becky were heavily dominant for no fucking reason. It was boring a lot of the time because you kind of figured where it was going to go and what they were going to do. They had opportunities to make it worthwhile and they chose to be assholes about it. So I didn't like it. As far as the men, I feel like they could have made the title runs for the middle card titles a little bit more exciting. They could have had a little bit more oomph to them. You know, they could have put a little bit more effort into those titles, and they didn't. They just kind of lackadaisical booked them, and they didn't really give them much to go for. The tag team titles, God knows. Tag team titles went through hell. Hell, and they're still going through hell. They're still going through hell. I like Dakota gear. Her butterfly gear looks so nice. Can I have one thing before you go to bed, please? Can I please have my super soda from downstairs out the fridge? And I won't bother you. And a little bit of ice if there's any. Charlotte said them rolls be expensive. Yeah, I know. I watched her Broken Skull sessions, which I highly recommend a lot of you should. You'll get some more insight into Ashley and, you know, her take on Charlotte. Layla's gear never disappointed me. I didn't really care for Layla's gear, so if you liked it, I loved it. But me personally, I didn't like it. Dolph has good new pieces before he was wearing it over and over. Well, what was he supposed to do? Spend a lot of money on a gear. I don't understand that. Y'all understand how expensive them fucking gears are? Them gears is pricey. I wouldn't be spending money on gear either. Y'all gonna enjoy this Mr. Ass looking gear and not say a damn thing to me about it. That's how I'd be. But I do like some of Dolph's gear. It's okay. It's not bad. I love Dakota's gear. Cattle mutilation, that's the name of it. Thank you. I knew you was gonna get it. Thank you so much. Love you. Mean it. Live in Dakota have good gears as well. Um, I'm gonna say nice gowns because I didn't really like Dakota's gear until now. I wasn't a fan of any of Dakota's gears. I just never liked Dakota's gear. Liv Morgan's gear fluctuates by what pop artist is popular in her head at the time. So I don't really care for her gear either. Sometimes it's just too much going on in their gear. I love Shotzi's gear at NXT. Her main roster gears are meh. I actually like Shotzi's gear on the main roster. I don't have a problem with it. I think it fits her. Rose plant. I figured it was the rose plant. Thank you. Coast to Coast is bomb. I like Grayson's old finisher. It looked ruthless. Anything that has to do with that ashy lip bitch, I'm good. I don't like Grayson Waller. I feel like he cosplaying as somebody, and I can't put my finger on it, but it feel racist. And I'm about to. It feel racist to me. I don't know why, but it just feel racist to me. And I hate to say that because I'm not sure if that's. I just feel like he. I don't. I just feel like it feel racist to me. Zelina's cattle mutilation finisher is interesting. I don't think I've ever seen her use it. If she used it, I'd probably change the channel when she was on TV. But Dolph be wearing the same 2 to 3 every new run. I don't care. I don't blame her. I don't blame him for that. I like Dolph's pride gear. That's the only time I wanted to look at him, to be honest. It do feel racist to me. Liv's gear been ugly since day one in January. All right. Bia, unfortunately. Zelina's WrestleMania gear was a moment in time. Uh, Young AJ Styles with an Australian accent. That's what he reminds me of. If that's what AJ Styles was in his youth, then I was right in my assumption. No, Grayson character doesn't feel like he's racist. It feels racist to me. Zelina never used cattle mutilation, but she's used Last Chancery, which is similar. Okay. But he probably is the nicest person there. Until I see something different, what I see is what I see. What I see is character. I don't know anything outside of the Grayson Waller character he presents. So I'm not talking about him personally. I'm talking about the character he's portraying. It is what it is. I'm pretty sure he is nice, as are some people in the locker room, but he gets on my fucking nerves. Wholeheartedly, he gets on my goddamn nerves. I was shocked when Grayson was at Wale Mania. He looks like the type that listens to that type of music. Think about how he moves and his swag. So, girl, I agree. Just saying. Yeah, that was when she was dating Austin, dude from the Cruiserweight division that got fired in like 2019. Who was dating Austin? Liv? Austin Aries? Is that who he's talking about? I like Mandy's old finisher, which is a lifting double underhook sit out face buster. That is a long ass name to describe a move. Goodness. I'm sure the same probably won't be said about me. Oh, I will talk about you like a dog when you get. I would talk about you like a dog. Do you think WrestleMania Hollywood should have a halftime performance? Hell no, it's gonna be four. It take 2 days to do Mania now, and you want to do a halftime performance in the middle of that? It's already 4 hours each night. That is 8 hours of wrestling for 2 days straight.
To be wild next year.
You mean that?
So WrestleMania next year in Hollywood, that shit gonna be nuts.
Oh no, Zelina was dating Austin Aries before he got fired, and she got married to Aleister Black. Oh, I did not know that. Ew. Austin Aries don't seem like her type. Ew. And he's a heavy Trumpy. Austin Aries, heavy Trumpy, severe vegan, if I remember correctly. Oh, heavy Trumpy. Like, he's the kind of Trump supporter that you want to slap. It was called The Bed of Roses. Oh! Okay, I know what that is. Long is dying. I like that song. That was a good song on that album. A shorter name is the Sit Out Butterfly Face Buster. My friend just came. My father.
What was that dude name? I think he was like on one of the fucking like the Tough Enough shows or something like that. He wore glasses. He was black. He was bald. His name was Percy something.
Watson.
Percy's finisher was nuts.
I miss Percy. He was good in NXT. They should have kept him. I think it was Percy Watson. Yeah, I liked Percy. My friend just came. My father a couple weeks. I'm trying to read this. My father a couple weeks ago, but he told his girlfriend that he doesn't want to be part of the baby's life. How do we get to the point that they have a baby? What just happened? I told my friend he was wrong. He said that makes me a bad person. Okay. I'm trying to make this out to understand what this means. But my friend became a father a couple weeks ago. I'm assuming that's what you mean. But he told his girlfriend that he doesn't want to be part of the baby's life. I told my friend he was wrong. He said that makes me a bad person. Well, Velveteen Dream is not coming back. Velveteen Dream was in jail. And then he got bailed out by Adonis. But I'll get to that in a minute. Your friend is wrong for not wanting to be in the child's life. But wow. This was about wrestling. And now we're doing Freestyle Wednesdays. Well, it is about to be 12 o'clock. It is. It's like 1 minute from 12. Your friend's wrong. And he didn't have no problem making the baby, so he shouldn't have no problem taking care of it. But I'm a firm believer if a person doesn't want to be in a child's life, then they shouldn't be. They can do more irrevocable damage to a child being there and not wanting to be there than not being in the child's life. And I know that sounds really, really wrong and really fucked up, but hear me out. The abuse that you could suffer being in a child's life that you could bestow upon a child that you don't want could not happen if you just kept your ass away. If that makes sense. I'd rather a child have abandonment issues than have abuse issues and everything else, like compiling issues from you not wanting to be a father. Then one abuse is not doesn't outweigh the other, but I'd rather you have abandonment issues than to have like 50 others from a person who's broken, obviously, and doesn't understand that when you have unprotected sex, you can get someone pregnant. Stop having unprotected sex. If you aren't ready to have a child, stop having unprotected sex. Simple as that. Only thing I would tell you is that you were right in telling your friend that he was wrong. And he says that you're a bad person. That's his fucked up opinion. He doesn't even want to be a dad. So what does his opinion matter? He doesn't know shit. Like sticking your dick in shit, but you don't like what comes out. Stupid.
I heard sound like Goku from Dragon Ball Z agrees. Sex makes babies.
It does. I mean, they're going to be like, this motherfucker is mean and just meaner in the ring. I'm going to be talking like Don like a dog. I'm going to be on his ass. I'm like, y'all see that motherfucker? He on some bullshit today. I'm be going out. A halftime performance brought to you by me and Don. What y'all going to do? Another 2K match in the middle of WrestleMania? I don't like it. It's like a pedigree, but you lift your opponent. Okay. Nah, because some of these matches run too long, and then they be having all these commercials and crowd counts like we give a damn. Right? Right? It be so many crowd counts. Like so many, to the point where the last crowd count, they shoot off fireworks.
Yeah.
You'd be like, damn. Can we get through the show, please? It's like the finisher, Awesome Kong. Oh! Okay. Okay, I get it. Did you see the rumors about Velveteen Dream returning? Velveteen Dream was in jail. He got bailed out, and that's it. Velveteen Dream was never returning. I don't know who started that rumor. It doesn't really matter because he's not coming back. If he does, I guess great for whoever wants him to come back. I could give less than a fuck about Velveteen Dream right now. Not gonna lie, I thought his character was hella fun. But Velveteen Dream is a cancer. You bring a cancer into your locker room, it's gonna start some shit. Smart thing to do is to keep the cancer out. The implant face buster. I guess that's what they call it. I don't know. We saw and we do not care. Fucker just got out of jail. He did. Well, this took a turn, very much so. I saw his new mugshot. That's enough for me. I mean, whatever.
So,
Can you please go watch what I just sent you on IG? It took me out. Kind of on live right now, so.
Too bad he a piece of shit. He was a damn good wrestler.
Yeah, he was a very good character. Y'all whores better stop engaging in this raw dogging lifestyle and wrap it up. No, we're going to tap dance, pussy pops, and do circles, Timmy. I quit. Like, that could be a nice 15-minute set somebody could do at WrestleMania. Mandy O finisher is the exact finisher Ciampa does, just more elevated. I don't know why we're still on this, but I got it. Thank you so much. And you could put new artists on at the same time. Not with all the shit they got going on, Don. I'm not sitting through a 15-minute set of that'll be a bathroom break. But I'm not doing it. No. I mean, I guess. That's another 15 minutes that's going to be added. And like somebody's match is going to have to be cut short. Bruh. I would be so damn tired. Special delivery just for you and I. Black roses. Ew. Nobody wants to see Conor McGregor struggle belly roll. That's disgusting. They should just put Truth and Mel together and let them do their dance break. You out of your fucking mind. No. You already sit through the show. Fuck you, Don. I barely made it through the Super Bowl halftime shows. Ain't no way I'm going to make it. Listen, I actually enjoy the Super Bowl halftime shows. Yeah, everybody didn't like Maroon 5 set, but I liked it. I didn't mind Justin Timberlake's either. I liked his. I'm not saying add more time. Shit can be replaced. Like, for example, Drew match and Corbin match. Those two matches could be cut. Not to have some bullshit artist come in there and sing something stupid. Like, I don't want to look at fucking Cardi B shaking ass on stage. I don't want to see that. It's WrestleMania, bitch. It's not motherfucking... I don't want to see it. I'm mad. I remember I went to the Mania in Florida. It was long as fuck. We didn't get back to the hotel till 2 a.m. Wait, Tip, I'm just thinking about what you said. Adonis built Dream out. Yes, that's what the rumor was. I just remember Adam Levine yelling at Atlanta for no reason. Y'all some hating ass motherfuckers. I'm just gonna tell you that straight to your face. Hating ass. Hating ass. I just watched an NXT clip. Shayna done gone my heart, got my heart racing. Baby, she cleared that bitch. That should be the new slogan. It's WrestleMania, bitch. I love the fact that we can't tell what the fuck is gonna happen. No, you cannot. You cannot tell. It is gonna be a very interesting show at Worlds Collide. Because Tyler Bate could beat Braun and Braun could beat Tyler Bate. You could have Groucho Marx win, or Miko Satomura could win, or God forbid they let Mandy's punk ass win. What are your thoughts on Evolution coming back? Where are you getting that from? It's not. I don't need a all women's pay-per-view. A lot of people think that we do. Me personally, I don't. I'm not a big proponent of an all women's pay-per-view. I don't really care. I don't really care for it. It's not something that I need to see. I'm glad that it happened. It's history making, but at the same time, I don't need to see it. I don't need another Evolution. She cleared her, but it's also heavy truth in what she said. And betting against Mandy this far has got us no fucking where. And betting with her ain't got us nowhere but boring matches and honeys and sweethearts. So you damned if you do and damned if you don't. And I'm just going to be damned if I don't. Okay? Because I don't like that hoe. Dead ass. I don't like that hoe. I don't like her. I feel like he's talking about the group, but that's even more far-fetched than the pay-per-view. And Mandy has actually been interested in these the past 3 months. Now, when you said that, and you typed that in the box, and you hit sends, you telling me you believe that when you said it? You was not interested in Mandy and her title reign the last 3 months. Just lying. Because I damn sure wasn't.
Just as interested as everybody wants to live winning their championship.
I don't give a shit about Mandy. I give her props for the match she had with Zoe. It was a solid match. Anything outside of that, it's been some bogus ass bullshit that I don't care to watch again. I do not want to listen to that bitch for another 3 months. Talk about how somebody need to put respect on her name. Girl, if being champion does not get you the respect you deserve, bitch, that should tell your ass something. You don't walk like a champion. You don't talk like one. You just talk like you got a lot of mouth. And at this point, your best showing was with Zoe. Congratulations, ho. If you got one match out of almost an entire year title reign that finally gave you something, that should say something about you. Not about your title reign, about you. Child, I said interesting, and we know that could be an array of things. No. I tell you what was interesting. What was interesting about Mandy was her opponents. The last title shot she had, quite frankly, I didn't give a shit about Cora going up against Mandy, and that's just keeping it real. I just hoped against hope that whoever took the title off of her would finally get the bitch. Cora failed. Praying Mantis failed. Everybody else failed. Indy failed. They all failed. She was able to keep the damn title. So we stuck in this limbo of spray tans and spray tans, white toenail polish, and honeys and sweethearts. And I'm just tired at this point. I'm just tired. I just feel like she had came out like I just feel like had she came out like this at first, we'd be all right. You would be okay, but not me. Because it's not even about what Mandy was in the past. Because what we saw when she first came with Absolution was a glimmer of a powerhouse wrestler. And now what we're getting is somebody who can barely run across the ring and Christian Louboutin stilettos all the time, switching and shit down the ramp, and then you spamming your fucking knee because you don't know how to use no other move in your arsenal. The only thing you got is that knee. That's it. It's like the super kick. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody got a super kick. Even Kevin Owens got a fucking super kick, okay? But my point is, you spamming it. Like, there's no diversity in your arsenal. There's no diversity in your character either. Your character is exactly as it was when you was Mandy Rose with Sonya, as in, one half of Fire Desire. What is the fucking difference between Mandy now and Mandy back then? The only difference is she got 2 minions on her side. And she talking more on the microphone, and she's not talking about how everybody's not as pretty as her. That's it. It's still a lot of honeys and sweethearts and a lot of condescending tones. It's just annoying. I'm not here for it. I don't like it. Child, if Mandy got to tell people put respect on her name, and then she ain't do the shit worth to be being respected. If Mandy, I'll put it this way, very similar to Raquel's title reign, I absolutely hated Raquel's title reign because Raquel was boring. Mandy boring as hell too. Only reason why Mandy interested is because Mandy has 2 minions on her side to help her through. Raquel's help came from Dakota. That made Raquel interesting, but Raquel was saved face by the quality of her matches that she would have with each individual opponent. When she went up against Amber, when she went up against Tony, when she went up against Io Shirai, when she had the battles, you know what I'm saying? Even the stuff with Dakota, her match quality was damn good. I won't take that from her. Mandy just be cold on all fronts. It's like, bitch, you lame in every area. You gotta be stellar somewhere. Somewhere, bitch. The only time that hoe solid is with her hair and her makeup. Like everything else is just God. Like you, it's like pulling fucking teeth. Well, let's hope Hunter can get her back to her roots. I don't know, child. Nah, she still says nobody is as hot as she is. That's disappointing. Who would you fire from the women's division and bring back? I would fire Dana, Tamina, and Aaliyah. I would bring back Lana, Nia, Mia, Kyrie, and Emma. I have no desire to fire anybody. That is not my job. I definitely wouldn't bring Nia Jax back though. You can have that. That's not a game I like to play. But if that's what y'all want to play, be my guest. I don't think Mandy deserves to be fired. I just need that bitch to step her pussy up. If you're going to be a damn champion, then I need you to walk and talk like one. I need you to act like one. I don't need you to act like everybody look at me. And when people don't look at you, you need to look at me. No, bitch, give me a reason. You're not giving me a reason because I don't like you. I don't give a damn about you. Do you get it? Do you get it? Great. Just bottom line, bare minimum. I don't give a shit about you. There's no reason to. You haven't given me a reason to care. Simplest way I can explain it. But I wouldn't fire her. I feel like Mandy has potential, and that potential could be brought out, like Don said. He said, let's hope Hunter can get her together, which I definitely have to agree. Maybe he will. Who knows? So let's go over this really quickly, and then I'm going to be out of y'all here. We've been at it for 2 hours. Worlds Collide is coming Sunday at 4 p.m., okay? Because I believe they're going to be overseas.
They're going to be in Europe.
They're going to be in Europe for this match. So the kiddos are flying out probably tonight to head overseas to Cardiff. I don't know exactly where they're having it. They didn't say it was going to be in Cardiff for Worlds Collide. Let me look. They say it's going to be in the Performance Center.
What?
Hold on a second. Yeah, it's going to be Rick versus Carmelo Hayes at Worlds Collide. It seems like Worlds Collide is going to be in the Performance Center.
That sucks.
At least that's what they're alluding to. I'm stingy with my love. Ooh, baby, Yep, it's going to be in the Performance Center.
Wow.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Why would they have it at 4? Oh, so it don't run into All Out. So they don't have to compete with the time at All Out. It's pretty smart if you ask me.
Not bad at the time, but it's still gonna be. It's here.
I think it is. I don't think it's gonna be overseas. Ooh, baby, send you my love. What'd you say?
I still think they'll put in better numbers if it was competing with All Out.
I don't know about that, babe. The motherfucking AEW stands are fucking weird. Weird. They are some weirdos. I seen a dude streaming AEW on like 4 different devices to give them views.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Yeah, man. Not the MAGA twins. Nicole ain't shit. Worlds collide. Am I the only one who missed those 3 to 4 hour long lives on IG? Those were good old days when Don and Maj used to battle. Y'all don't ever come in my lives on IG, so I don't go to IG anymore. Sorry. Nobody ever comes in there. I be sitting there for like 10 minutes and nobody comes in. And Instagram doesn't notify anybody that I'm live. So I stopped doing them. That wasn't that long ago. It wasn't, but I stopped doing them because Instagram doesn't notify anybody that I'm live. So sorry. So Worlds Collide is Sunday, September 4th at 4 p.m. Eastern. Don and Maj used to battle. No, honey, I used to drag him, call a spade a spade. I cannot with you. Anyway, it streams exclusively on Peacock in the US and WWE Network everywhere else. It doesn't say that they're gonna be anywhere else other than the PC. So
That kind of sucks.
I don't think they're going overseas. It doesn't necessarily say where they're gonna be at. So that sucks. But anyways, so we've got Worlds Collide coming Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1 p.m. Pacific Time. The Fatal 4-Way for the Tag Team Titles Unification match, you have Briggs and Jensen, Pretty Deadly, Gallus, and you have the Creed Brothers. The Creed Brothers are the current NXT champions, and Briggs and Jensen are the current NXT UK Tag Team champions. Then you have this match, which I think is probably going to be one of the favorites and probably one of the best matches of the night. You've got Carmelo Hayes and Ricochet battling it out for the North American Championship. Ricochet made his challenge last night, which was Tuesday. Today is Wednesday. So he made his challenge for the championship Tuesday on NXT, came back and shut the whole show down. And that was the closeout segment for the show. And you have the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships contested by Nikki ASH and Piper. They're going after Kaden and Katana's championships, and you know they're the newly crowned NXT Women's Tag Team Champions. Then you have the Big Kahuna with Braun Breaker and Tyler Bate. I think. Did I get the name right? Tyler Bate?
Yeah, it's Tyler Bate.
Okay, because I don't want to make nobody's name wrong. I'm sorry. Sometimes I get Tyler Bate confused with with some of the other people, so I apologize if I say their name wrong. God bless you. You feel better?
A little bit.
Okay, great. So Tyler Bate is going to go up against Braun Breaker. Not sure who's going to win this match, but I'm very curious about it. I think it's going to be solid either way. And then you have the girlies, all right? You've got the Queen Miko Satomura, and then you've got the current reigning NXT Women's Champion Mandy, and then you got Groucho Marx here with Bea Priest. I mean, her name Blair Davenport in NXT. Because that's what she remind me of with them. That's what she remind me of. Her and her flappy ass kick pads. That's just what she reminds me of. So that is what NXT Worlds Collide is going to be. Oh, and tonight we got to see, and they said bless you. This melatonin is kicking in. I'm going to have to head off and go to bed. Good night. Good night, Brandy. So we saw William Regal's son wrestle Andre Chase tonight. Kayla said bless you too.
Thank you.
And they had a pretty decent match, and Andre Chase beat him. Didn't expect that at all. And the more I look at him, the more I see William Regal. It's so fucking eerie to see him wrestling in a ring, because really When William Regal was younger, he was a mean son of a bitch. He was such a mean and brutal wrestler. And his son is following right in his fucking footsteps. So it's going to be an interesting time in NXT to see what's going on. But Worlds Collide is coming Sunday. I'm going to do a storyline recap of everything on our podcast like I always do. And as always, we're going to have to talk about Clash at the Castle just before I go off. So Clash at the Castle has a new match set up, and I think this is going to be the final match added. This is Edge and Rey Mysterio versus the Judgment Day. Rhea Ripley is a deciding factor in this match. I genuinely think that Dominic Mysterio is going to cost Edge and Rey Mysterio this match and more than likely join Judgment Day. This match right here is probably going to be one of the best matches of the night. You have Gunther going up against Sheamus, and I feel like Sheamus might take this title from Gunther, but it could go either way. It's probably going to be the most physical and most brutal match of the night, but it's definitely going to be a good one. Then you got the big kahuna, okay? You've got Nino Brown, a.k.a. Roman Reigns, going up against Drew McIntyre, the Scottish Warrior, all right? Drew McIntyre is looking to take these double titles off of Roman Reigns. Now, Roman's been walking around like he is the omnipotent WWE Undisputed Universal Champion, and nobody can take it from him. And he made it very clear, I am not going anywhere. I want somebody to come and take this from me. So Drew McIntyre, you know the drill. Your back was fucked up Friday. They beat your ass. You better do something. Otherwise, you're going to be bested by Roman and just be another notch in his belt and just another body in the wake of his 2-year title reign celebration, which he's going to have Friday. So we're going to have to listen to Paul Heyman probably suck Roman's dick for another 30 minutes and listen to Jey Uso be mad and angry all the fucking time. It's like, damn, like you a double champion, bro. Are you ever happy? What is wrong with you? Just be spitting venom for nothing,
Happiness is not in his vocabulary.
Right? Anyways, Shayna Baszler is also challenging Liv Morgan for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Now, it seems to me that Liv Morgan's title reign is going to be ladled with her weaseling out of championship battles. She's going to find a way to weasel out of this match, but I suspect that Ronda Rousey is going to be a big reason why Shayna Baszler loses this match. But we'll have to wait and see. The biggest match of the night, or rather the biggest feud of this pay-per-view, is Matt Riddle and Seth Rollins. Now, if you don't know about the mess that's going on talking about Matt Riddle, I'll get into that tomorrow. But Matt Riddle and Seth Rollins have a very personal and volatile feud that is going to boil over into Clash at the Castle. I don't know how this is going to end, but I am hoping that Seth Rollins gets the W, seeing as how Seth hasn't won a match in a very, very long time, especially on a pay-per-view, more specifically on a pay-per-view. He's been a little lackadaisical in the match department on a pay-per-view. But, live your best life. I saw that still from tonight's match with Andre Chase. I was seeing double. Well, yesterday now. Yes, he looks exactly like his father. It's uncanny. Anyways, and the final bout for Clash of the Castle for us is the 6-woman tag team match. Now, you've got the current Raw Women's Champion, Bianca Belair, Bliss, and Asuka going up against Damage Control. Now, Damage Control just recently lost their championships, or their possible championships, on this past Monday Night Raw in a controversial fashion, but hopefully things will work out for them later on in the end. But this coming Saturday, they've got to worry about fighting against 2 former champions, and a current champion. These are not going to be easy battles. They definitely have to showcase what they're going to be able to do against these championship caliber superstars. Not to mention Bayley being a former champion in her own right. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see who's going to win in the end. I think Damage Control probably will pull out a W over these girls. If they don't, it is what it is. But there you have it, ladies and gents. There it is. And there it was. So you know how you can do an 8-man tag on 2K and have 4 teams of 2 and have all the teams battling in the ring. Why don't you think they do that in real life instead of doing the 2 people in the ring? Thing being able to tag other teams. Don't know. Maybe they feel like it's just an easier match to do and it's not so chaotic. Quite frankly, I feel like it could be a tornado tag match, just everybody in the pool. But they do what they want, and we just watch. If you don't like it, I would suggest don't watch it. But you guys make sure you come back tomorrow. We're going to have Q&A like I always do. Kind of did Q&A today, which was interesting. We do Q&A tomorrow. And of course, I will always do my SBC chat stuff. And we will just do some more pop culture conversation after wrestling. So with all that being said, I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.
Thank y'all so much for coming and being part of my show. Please don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe on the channel. It really helps to get my content out there for everybody to see. And I feel like even though we're a wrestling channel, we talk about a little bit of everything over here when I go live. So make sure you guys follow me on my social media as well. All of my socials are the same at Sack Design TV 2. You can find me on Twitter, and you can find me on Instagram, and you can find me on Facebook if you're a little nerd and you like Facebook. But don't forget to follow me and subscribe, and make sure you rate my videos and get that algorithm up to push it up so I can start being a little bit more professional, so I can start making some coins. Okay? I will talk to y'all later. Love you. Bye.